Hello, and welcome everyone to the second session of the Policy Matrix series. This initiative strives to connect public policy enthusiasts to public policy experts. We will interview experts and understand their journey in this immense field of public policy, and with the hope to gain insight that can help people who are looking to pursue their career in this field. My name is Sanjay Sudarsan. I'm a second year political science major from Ashoka University, and today I'm having a conversation with Mr. Sagar Vishnoi. Mr. Sagar Vishnoi is a chief strategist of new media in the Ideas Factory. He's also the founder of a governance innovation lab called Govern, which works with governments, civic agencies, and politicians on the intersection of Industry 4.0 and politics for progressive governance. His current project is called Janmat, developing blockchain technology for politics for free, fair election reforms. A political campaigner and analyst, Sagar's key experience lies in political communications. Welcome, Mr. Sagar. We're glad to have you here.
Sure. Thank you, Sanjay, for such a interesting introduction. And I would really like to congratulate you for starting this interview series of public policy experts, because it will somehow help the people who are entering into the field of public policy, and it will give somehow new insights to those people who are interested in this interesting area of subject. So I really like to congratulate you for this initiative, and thank you so much for inviting me for this conversation.
All right. Sir, I think just to get things started, let me ask you, what sparked your interest in this field? Like, what motivated you to start your organization or pursue this path?
Sure. So it was, I would like to share a story with you. So it was 2011 when I passed out from Delhi University, and India Against Corruption movement was going on. So I was just another volunteer, like lakhs of volunteers. So I participated in it, and then I became even volunteer of Aam Aadmi Party. Then that was a time when my interest got into politics, and then somehow public policy. So after, by completing my studies in Pune of management and advertising, so I came back to Delhi and then somehow got more involved within Aam Aadmi Party and how a ground volunteer works, whether it's poster sticking or whether it's writing articles for them. And that was very interesting period for me personally, because you got to understand policy and politics from the ground perspective so much, that how people are affected in a way, and how politics is done, and how any policy can affect so many people on a mass. So that I got to understand during that 4-year period time. Then after Aam Aadmi Party, I worked with Political Edge. It's a leading political consultancy. Then I also got to work after that with presidential elections of Myanmar, Sri Lanka, and few international campaigns like Free Nasheed of Maldives. And after that, like, it's been a roller coaster, like working with so many MLAs and MPs, and even in CM offices. So it was really interesting for me, and somehow a different approach. And what interest made me go towards this particular field were two major things. Those were like how people can be impacted in a positive way. When I got to, when even right now, when we go towards any campaign, or we, run any particular initiative for any politician, so we get to understand like how things are moving on ground, how people are reacting, what they are understanding, and what are their requirements, what are their needs. So that is very much important. So if you can feel that, if you can understand that, then of course you can enter this field in a very interesting way. And this was what the first thing which made me interested into public policy and politics. And second was writing, because writing is involved everywhere here. whether it's politics, whether it's speeches, whether it's writing normal letters to people, whether it's writing any, policy brief for any new initiative. Writing should be the number one priority if anyone wants to enter this particular field. And right now, what I am doing is we have started a governance innovation lab called Govern. So what we are doing is how technology and politics and governance, how the new fourth industrial revolution can impact politics and governance, not only in India, but around the world. So we are researching over it, and we have a good team of Ivy League people from London School of Economics, even JNU and Oxford and IDS, who are researching and who are suggesting new initiatives and policy brief to us, and even the over which we decide like what product we should select or what product we should make, so that which can impact policy and governance. Like uh, uh, first of all, like I would like to uh, give you example like AI based VDR videos we made. So those were the things which are very new to Indian, rather international politics, and can impact people in a big way, positively.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I'm sure in your journey in this field, you must have faced a lot of challenges, and even in your daily work life, you might be facing challenges. So, how do you overcome them, or do you have any advice for other people who might be facing similar challenges?
Yeah. So challenges is somehow part of life, because if there are no challenges, then there is no real growth. So we have to be very much positive about every challenge which is coming our way. And with a positive mindset, with a positive approach, we have to look at those challenges, whether it's coming in a political field, whether if we are on ground and understanding how people are reacting in an upcoming campaign, how what is the emotion, and who, which is the candidate they are going to vote, which is not the candidate they are going to vote, and how to swing the vote. So challenges come has their own way. Like I would like to tell you a story. Like uh, there was a campaign going on before 2019. So many people were understanding that somehow the leading party which is ruling the government is coming in a particular area of Uttar Pradesh. And there were few parts where which were very vocal about like regional parties like SP, BSP. So, and when we got to understand this, that there is almost 50-50 ratio, which is saying like this party can come up, and similarly the other half is saying this party can come up. So challenges can be macro and micro as well. So we got to understand from journalists as well, and we got to understand from the local people as well, and even people from the booth, that what is the response, what, how people are going to vote, what is their emotion right now. And it's going to change daily, whether it's election or it's a non-election phase. And if I talk about macro challenges, then of course, yes, like how to approach, uh, you know, policy. If you're writing a policy brief, then obviously how to approach a problem. Like, and until unless you have that personal connection with that problem, you won't be able to write good stuff. So it's very important to have a personal approach or personal anecdote with yourself, and then connecting that personal problem with that larger problem. Then you got to understand like how that the solution is going to come, or the how the brief is going to form. Because it's very easy to form policy brief within AC halls, but it's very tough to understand those things while being survey on the ground, and after then coming up and then doing the research and then forming a policy brief. So it's those are very little things which one should understand before entering this field. And of course, yes, like how to approach a politician with like many people understand this, like there is an internship coming up, or is there any job related to political communications regarding policy brief. So that those are the channels which are very wide open. We have LinkedIn, we have personal connections, and we have fellowships like LAMP, like Swaniti. So right now, the policy and political field has opened a lot, which has made the entry barrier has got low, and people are entering to become politicians, to become policy counselors, to become advisors, which is a very interesting thing. But before understanding this thing, and one has to understand their own skills and requirements, and the priority should be given to their passion. If they're passionate about writing, if they're passionate about serving people or communicating something, they should go on into this, because challenges are many. It's going to come in bulk daily, and those will be unusual challenges which comes in any normal job, because it has a field, it has a scope of work which is much larger than any kind of job. So one should be ready mentally and physically as well to understand the challenges of this particular field. And of course it can create a person more agile, but it can also has the tendency to emotionally broke a person. But one should be much aware about it, about their skills and about their passions, to create an impact in politics and policy field, because our country needs such leading leaders to create I can say an army, so that a better future can be created and a progressive society can be created.
On that note, delving into people's passion and pursuing what they like to do, the next question is also on those lines. So what really inspired you to focus on digital communications and integrating tech into policy? Also, if possible, share with like our audience today how Janmanth evolved from an idea to a project. Like, how did that come about?
Sure. So how I got interested into technology, how it's going to impact politics is like, there is a story. Like, my father was into uh, government service. So he used to give very new ideas to his bosses and even the government. So introduced in agriculture how SMS based service can aware farmers about the upcoming threat, or if there is locusts coming in or there are flies coming in, so how those SMS can you know uh, make farmers aware about any upcoming threats. So he was very techno friendly in his, like, in a government job. If a person is doing such interesting work, so that obviously makes you you know interesting about it, and you get inspiration from it. So that's how I got inspiration about the technology stuff. And uh, it's about how innovation can happen, because whether we believe it or not, whether we understand it or not, but our political sphere, or we can say the political systems, have become very much redundant. It's following an old process, whether we call it democracy, whether it's called it fascism. We have so many theories about it, but those are following a very redundant processes. But how everything is evolving, social media has broken all barriers. Similarly, new technology which is coming up can break and create new innovations into governance or politics. Like, we have seen how Modi addressed 3D rallies in 2014 election. Later on, it was copied by Macron in no opposition party of Macron in 2016 elections in France. And so similarly, we used different form of new technologies like 3D fans and holographic things while person is moving then in our campaigns. Similarly, AI based VDR. And how got interested into Janmat? It's a factor like how we usually vote, how we elect our governments. how we elect people, those who are going to rule us. So I was very interested in this topic. I wrote even a paper on it, and many articles on it, how uh, we are living in a very redundant process when we elect people, and how it can be changed, or if not be changed, then how it can be, you know, impacted in a more pro people way. Then I got to understand blockchain technology and how it's innovating so many different sectors, whether it's finance, it's retail, it's uh, other new sectors like insurance. Then the idea came up, like I discussed with my few friends, how it can, how, what if like this can be, you know, used into voting mechanisms. Like currently we have EVMs, but of course we cannot the completely rely, in the sense there is a doubt over it. I'm not the best person to comment over it, like is it the fair medium or not. But there are so many reports where journalists have shared, like it may not be the fair medium. So what is the new thing which is going to come? So then we made many deliberations, discussions, and researches we made from our own researchers in govern. And then we have come up with this thing, like this, but complete mechanism has developed, which is blockchain based EVM machine. So how it's going to work and how it's going to replace, because innovations has to come up in political sphere. EVM came, the idea of EVM came in 1989, and till 2014-15 it became a reality. It took a very long time of, almost 20 years or so. So similarly, a new tool is going to come up. So we have to change the tools. And how it's going to be changed? Using technology. So a lot of deliberations and a lot of work has been done in the last 2 years over developing this particular mechanism and tool of voting. So now we are going to begin the testing format and the pilot format within few RWAs and colleges, so that this can be tested on a very small level. And then we are going to take up after many pilots to different type of elections, whether it's city mayor elections or they are local elections, so that new tools can become part of governance and new medium to for the people to actually choose people, those who are somewhere right to, rule our country, or whether it's any part of the world.
On that note, a small follow-up question to what you just said. Do you think technology can no longer be outside of public policy, or that now it's going to integrate no matter what we do in this day and age? There's going to be that integration that's going to happen between technology and public policy. What is your view on that?
Yeah, I believe technology has to be added because of the latest developments into this technology sector in last 20 years. So it has become part of our daily lives, our mobile phones, our automated gadgets, our automated homes. So it has become part of our daily lives. Somewhere, Wi-Fi, almost every home has its Wi-Fi and the internet connection. So technology has arrived, it has become a part of life. And therefore, when we see it on ground, so we have to include it in the public policy, and more research should be done to understand how technology affects people and how people are getting affected by it, whether it's privacy, whether it's deep fakes, whether it's blockchain technology based voting mechanisms, or digital identity. So technology has to be included in public policy, and I believe, like there should be a separate digital, we can say, ministry for understanding the concepts of technology and how it's going to impact country and its repercussions. Many progressive countries have these digital ministries, like Taiwan, like Estonia. I can understand they are very small in numbers. The scale is, very small, but they understood. that part in the very early ages. Estonia adopted blockchain technology-based voting system in 2005. They have their own e-residency and different programs. So India is also making waves. We have a separate commission on AI. Similarly, a separate paper was launched on blockchain, and so many progressive steps we have seen this year and in 2019 and 18, how India is making waves in fourth industrial technology. World Economic Forum has partnered with few states to create center of innovations. So we are, as a country, we are making progress. But yes, we have to understand that how different countries are progressing and including it in the part of public policy and affecting public lives.
All right, Mr. Sagar. I think on like again a follow up to that would be what do you think is the future of public policy in the context of India? Like, where do you think this is going to go next? Like, what next for India in terms of its public policy prospects?
So as I understand, like I did my like course in digital communications and strategy from Columbia B School, Manhattan campus. So what I understood there, as far as the academic part is concerned, it's going to impact in the field of climate change, in the field of technology, in the field of women-centric policies. More and more such policies should come, and whosoever is entering into this field, I believe, should target these three particular fields, which are somewhere very progressive, and also uh, they will be very much beneficial, not if they would like to work with different ministers or ministries and the departments, because they have such openings around the world which are working on these three major issues. And while I discuss so many subjects while studying in later 2016 in Manhattan campus, so I got to understand this, like how technologies, sorry, going to impact public policy field, and also like how different states are making very quick decisions about climate change. Even the democratic patterns of different nations are, there can be a paradigm shift which is being seen, and it's going to impact people lives into a very interesting way. That's why these three topics, if anybody is interested, like which is a uh, specific topic I should choose to pursue this field, then I believe these are the topics which one should pursue, whether it's water, environment, climate change, technology, women, how they are impacting people lives, and how they are changing, and how their rights should be enhanced. So these are the field, and apart from that, there should be a passion which comes from that comes from inner being, how we can understand people problems, how uh, what and that comes from being on ground. So it's very important to have that much passionate about this particular field, not just this so much buzzword around it. If I get a Ivy League certification or degree from some good college, university abroad, then I can make some good money or I can change things. There is much more behind it if you want to impact people's lives, which comes from being passionate about people's lives and impacting them in a positive way. And like it can open so many doors for you, for any person who is interested in coming to this field, whether it's politics, being advisor to ministries, whether it's even becoming a politician. Like Jacinda Ardern was an intern, a public policy intern, before she became like in a 17-year journey before she came into public light, and then she became prime minister of New Zealand. So similarly, like this country need more leaders, and whether it's field of public policy or into communications or into digital communications, and those leaders are going to develop with their passion their skill. And of course, I believe uh, to whosoever is listening should, if they follow, so it would be pretty easy for them. Not with the challenges. Yes, challenges are going to come, but yeah, challenges are everywhere, and you have to face them.
And with that, just one last outward-looking question, more to end this interview. What advice do you have for people who are looking to pursue the career in this field? I know I've already asked you briefly earlier, but just to end this interview on a more outward-looking, futuristic look, what do you have to say?
Uh, can you come again? I didn't get your question.
What advice do you have for people who are looking to pursue a career in this field?
Okay, so those whosoever is looking like career into this field, there are like many experts. So it's better to have a mentor who can guide you through this in this particular field. And it's very important to have a mentor, whether it's some IAS person or someone who's being advising a politician or into different ministry, or being a political strategist, or some bureaucrat, because they understand the nuances and that they have the experience of working among the people, working with the government, working and implementing the schemes, those things which have impacted people. So it's very important to have a mentor, get a good study about it. That comes from being on ground as well, but study about the things and get good degree or certification from India. In India, we have ISDM, we have Takshila, we have like Swaniti also teach about public policy. We have Vision India Foundation, which is teaching public policy, and many other, like there are law schools, Nalsar, and so many universities which are teaching good programs into public policy. Abroad, we have Harris School and LSE and so many Ivy League institutions. So get a good degree or certifications about it, leak one, and just work, rather thinking much about it, just work with the people and the skill you have. So, and slowly you get to understand like how it's going to, how it's impacting people, and how whatever the draft you make, whatever the initiative or the policy brief you make, so then you get to, when it's being implemented, then you get to understand how it has made a very positive change into people lives, and that somehow inspire you more to do more good and write more brilliant policy brief. So yes, but on priority, one should have a mentor, a brilliant mentor into this, an experienced mentor. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sagar, for accepting our invite for today. Your words and advice are sure to help a lot of people. I know it helped me. It was my pleasure to interview you, and I look forward to more meetings with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. And it was very lovely talking to you and having a conversation and taking up very brilliant questions. And thank you so much. Thanks to Policy Matrix as well for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much to our audience for watching this interview, and we hope to see you with our third session of the series. Do follow all our social media handles and keep a lookout for updates. Thank you all once again. Have a great day. Bye.